Hey everybody and welcome back to Koi Pond Lifestyle. Look at this, isn't this nice? I've eventually got all my seating out in my sitting area, so I can actually sit outside instead of stood over by the filter system where I usually am. Liking this, let's do a bit more of this. So what have we got on this week? This week, can you remember my magnety thing that I cleaned the aquarium with? Remember this happening? Can you believe it? It's come off the end. Design flaw, it sinks. Yeah, very annoying. So I've got a solution for that we're going to see today. Water tests. So I'm going to get some water testing done today. I do my water tests every other day at the moment because things are always changing, you know, with the filters changing and the bacteria getting back up to speed. Oh, I need to get some of them bacteria balls actually. Sorry, thinking out loud. And this week it's the turn of your favourite and mine. The FOK is going in. Somebody said, Andy, enough of the FOK, please. How can you get enough of the FOK? Can never get enough of too much FOK. Is that a bit too much? Anyways, so we're going to crack on with those this week. It's going to be over a few days. I'm going to be videoing because I've got bits and pieces on. Glad you enjoyed the video of my monster fish visit. I was bricking it, to be honest, because I went to see the owner today. I was in Penkoi buying some bits for a little project I'm working on with my filter system and bumped into the owner of the monster fish pond video that I did last week before, whenever it was. And I was bricking it because I was like, please be happy with it, please be happy with it. And he went, Andy, love the video, thanks very much, that was brilliant. So bless you. If you're watching this, mysterious pond owner of monster fish, so glad you enjoyed it, and I'm glad everybody else enjoyed it as well. I got some fantastic comments, so thanks ever so much. I really enjoyed that. I'm working on another monster fish visit, but I don't know where that's going to come out or not. So let's crack on with some stuff. I could sit here all day actually, just watching dog play in the garden, watching grass grow, fishing my sky pond, which I've got to get a sticker for. Homer said he's working on that for me. I'll get them measurements out so we get that fitted as well. Anyway, on with the video. You eat there. Water testing. Massive part of being a pond keeper, water testing, in my opinion, and I'd be surprised if anybody disagreed with me on this, especially at this time of year when, you know, we've come out of winter. There's a lot of new ponds been built at the moment. I've been watching on Facebook a lot of people working very hard over winter to get their ponds built, ready for summer. So yeah, water testing, massive for me. I like to keep an eye on what's going on so I can react as and when I need to. So I'm checking for nitrites, I'm checking for ammonia. They're the two big killers of your fish if you don't control them and react as and when you need it. I also occasionally check for nitrate levels. But not as much because nitrate isn't as high a priority as the other two, as ammonia and nitrite. I also keep an eye on my KH levels, so you got to make sure that your pH and your KH is quite steady. You know, it doesn't change a lot because that affects what happens to the fish in there. So I'm going to just get a few water tests done now. I'm going to test for ammonia because now my fish are eating more. They're creating more waste, creating more ammonia. So I'm making sure that my filters, now they're coming out of winter, and I'm hoping that the beneficial bacteria has increased enough to be handling more. If it doesn't, then I'll reduce the feed. If it does, then I'll just continue to increase the feed until I see fluctuations, and then I'll manage it. So I'll manage it that way. For any new pond owners out there, I did a video on new pond syndrome, which is brand new filters starting up a brand new pond with your filters and getting these sudden peaks of ammonia and nitrite in your system. So I did a little video that I'll post somewhere. It'll be up there, and in the description. It'll be all over the place. So you can have a look at that there. And it diaried what happened to me and things I learned. So it's basically how to get through new pond syndrome and manage these ammonia levels and nitrite levels and nitrate levels and so on and so forth. So let's get some water testing done and we'll have a look at those. Right, water test kits. I always get asked, what water test kit do you use? I'm currently using that one. Reason I use that one is because I've used that from the start, and I'm used to how it works, and I know what I'm looking for, so I'm getting a consistent measurement every time I do it. Apart from the KH, when I use the Colombo KH kit, which gives you a different measuring bottle. Completely. So I use those. So I'm going to do ammonia, nitrite, pH and KH today. Get them done. KH being the first one, 5, which is good because it's got, ideally in my pond between 4 and 6. So that's quite good. So 5 is between 4 and 6. Okay, pH, nice and stable pH. Don't usually have a lot of problems with pH. Ammonia. Let's look at ammonia now. The more yellow that is, the better. Now there's a little bit of tinge off yellow there, which telling me that the fish are creating more ammonia, which is good because that feeds the bacteria. If you've got 0 ammonia in your pond, your bacteria can't feed on anything. So if everybody say I have 0 ammonia in my pond, you need ammonia for your bacteria. If you don't, then your bacteria start dying. So that's good. For me, that's great. Nitrite is the lighter blue that is, the better. The more purple, the worse. So it's also telling me that it's starting to turn ammonia into nitrite, which is good again. But it's only tinging at the moment. So I'm going to continue feeding what I'm feeding as the temperatures go up. Keep an eye on the tests. And then if these stay as they are, we'll be on summer food before you know it. Because at the moment I'm still on the summer-winter stuff. It's the summer-winter mix that Steve puts together. So tests, good. Next. Right, a couple of things with this one is, tank again, is I've had a couple of questions I'm going to answer here. Something I keep getting at, well I don't keep getting asked, but I have been asked, is how often do you have to clean your sky pond? Love that name. I'm going to stop saying that as well now. I've left this now for 2.5 weeks, and as you can see, it's getting really green. So 2.5 weeks of not completely under the shade. I put the shade up today because the sun's been out a lot today, so I put the sunshade up just to basically stop too many rays getting in the pond. So it's around about 2 to 3 weeks. Now some people say, well, what a waste of time that is, I can't be arsed to keep taking that off and cleaning it. I mean, it literally takes 5 or 10 minutes. It probably takes you more time to take it off and put it back on again than it just to actually clean it. The other question was, whatever happened to your magnet thing that you dropped in the drink? And no, the budgie smugglers are not coming on for that one. Here it is again. We're going to give it another whirl today. Now what I've done is, you probably can't see, you might be able to, I don't know, but I've attached some fishing line to it, so if it drops off I can just retrieve it again. However, it's not very strong fishing line. It's again found stuff in me garage, so I've got to be careful with this. It doesn't break. If it breaks, it's gone to the bottom, and then I'm cream crack it again. So what I think I might do with this one is just bring my net and just ledge my net underneath it, which somebody did suggest. Ledge your net under it, so if it falls out, then it'll fall into there. So I'm going to get this back on with the fishing line, and oh, he's got it all tangled up now, and give it a whirl, see what happens. Let's go with that. Right, I'm going to give it 20 minutes or so just for the the water to change, because I know these things actually circulate water. They don't hold one amount of water and then that's it. I proved that in a video that I made that I'll post in the description below, or up there if I find out which side. Anyway, look up there, it'll be up there if you want. Where somebody said to me, yeah, but does the water get too hot in these in the summer when there's a lot of sun on them? And I kind of disproved that and said no, it doesn't, because the water does circulate, especially when the fish are used it. So yeah, I'm going to just chuck a bit of food up there, get the fish to play around with it, clear the water, and then we'll have a look on the video, see how well the magnet things have done. Right, I've let it settle for about 10-15 minutes. Fish have been up, changing the water in there naturally. So let's have a quick spin around it now in the same direction and see how better it is. Right, so it's pretty good. You know, it's done not a bad job. I think I've got to do the ultimate test yet, which I'm going to do next, of accidentally dropping the other end into the pond. So we'll do that in a couple of seconds to see if it works, or are we going to be struggling again. But yeah, I think as Chegler's coming to be. I think as a maintenance thing, just to do it every other day, to try to elongate the amount of time it is between actually getting it off and cleaning it, I think, yes, I'm going to keep it on to do that. But I think to get into the nooks and crannies, as you probably saw in the video, down some of the joins, the seams, green, around the bottom that's underwater, green, because I can't get there at the back because the pond's in the way. So there is a number of things, but yeah, I'm going to keep this going. So let's do the ultimate test now. Let's drop it on purpose and see if it comes back. Oh no, it's come off in my hand. But there it is. Fantastic. Right folks, it's your friend and mine. It's time to add the FOK. As I said before, it's my water clay stroke conditioner, whatever you want to call it. Choice. Mixed up with pond water. For you, those of you who watch the Koi Master's Advantage, needs a little bit more product than the FOK. With FOK in my pond, at my literage, gallonage, whichever one you choose, it only needs 2 scoops. Again, you can't overdose on this stuff, but it's 30 quid a bag, so I'd get it somewhere close. It's not cheap, that's the only thing with FOK. Now, she's quite apt that I'm doing this. I'm putting the FOK in today because we were talking about water and coming out of water quality, water testing, coming out of winter into spring and into summer into the season. And we're all looking for beneficial bacteria. Now this, my friends, is a benefit to beneficial bacteria and promotes the growth of, oh, I get you. So for me, fantastic. This actually promotes beneficial bacteria in your system. So this is great. You know, this works really well for me. It gives the fish more appetite, which again is great because at this time of year when you want them to start eating again, you want them off the bottom, you want them up feeding, getting their energy back together so they can deal with things as we go in through the season, and so on and so forth. The only downsides with this stuff, there is minuses unfortunately, is it does leave like a grainy residue in your filters, but again it's only about a tablespoon or more once it's gone through your system, and that will land in your filters somewhere or in your bottom drain. When you purge your drain, it'll come through. The only other bit of a downside that I've found through my experience of using FOK is it can be a bit of an irritant to the fish for a few hours. So I find that when I've put this in, that it does make the fish flash around a little bit. So if you're using FOK for the first time and you put it in and sort of a few hours later your fish start flashing around, don't panic. It's probably this, that whatever is in it is an irritant to the fish, which is a bit of a bummer. But what can you do? So use your mixing jar, shaky shaky, mixy mixy. and then it goes in the pond. Now, just another quick one for those who do buy this pack and don't speak Japanese too well. Unless you've got a friend who speaks Japanese, then that's fantastic. Or you're going to Japan, even better. But if you haven't, and you're not, then the instructions, if you want to pause the video, or I posted it on my subscribers line. So in the community tab, I posted it in there a couple of weeks back, so the instructions are on here. Like I say, pause your video if you want to do that. Or they're in the community tab if you're subscribed to the channel. If you're new subscribed to the channel, welcome to Koi Pond Lifestyle. So many things happening. I tell you, I'm just full of ideas at the moment. I've been to Penkoi today. As I said earlier, I went to speak to the owner of the monster fish that I videoed the other week. Yeah, I was buying a few bits and pieces for a few projects. I'm looking at one coming up real soon. Also speaking to people about tempests. 260 quid. However, everybody I'm speaking to at the moment rates them. Your comments, please. You know where to put them. Because it's a lot of money. Is it worth a lot of money? And I know you go, well, Andy, just go and build your own. Again, I think to do that properly, maybe it might cost something similar to buying one. I don't know. Have I got somewhere to put it? That's another thing as well. They're quite tall and my filter system's quite small. I could put it in the garage maybe. I don't know, loads of different ideas. Right, so next job on the plan for this week was just basically, I was just going to give the brushes a quick swish through. I think a couple of videos ago I was going to get all the Koi Masters Advantage stuff off that had come out of the pond, flocculated and ended up in my filter system, which is good, that's where I want it. But I didn't clear it off because, and the reason I didn't clear it off is because I had a comment. I was on a live chat thing for Pond and Garden. If you ever search up Pond and Garden, they do some live chat things where they get a number of people on there, just basically on to chat and ask questions. And I dropped on there the other day. I did a little bit of a chat. I just went on to chat. I was doing some editing one day for the pond. It was on, so I joined the chat and we have a little chat with Gary and other pond tubers come on, and sometimes you have other people on. But anyway, so I was on that, and a channel called Up North Koi Pond commented on my multi-bay Vortex waste extractor, the KPL waste extractor that I built and modified to go into my Vortex. Reason being is, anybody who's new to the channel, hi, welcome to Koi Pond Lifestyle. The reason I created this, that I'm going to demonstrate for you in a minute, was because on a Vortex, on the Cockney Koi multi-base systems, the outlet is only at one end, so any rubbish that holds is here. And through the winter, you don't want to waste a lot of water. Well, anytime you don't want to waste a lot of water. But it wasn't dragging all the waste out from one area, so I created this, which is the KPL waste extractor that fits in the bottom of the Vortex. So all you do now is I just turn the waste valve on and it draws out for a few seconds and then you turn it back off. So it saves you dumping the whole lot of the Vortex. But anyway, I'll leave a link to the videos. Either there or in the description below. I don't know, I'm looking over there, you're there. So, but what Up North said is it still a prototype, Andy, or is that what you're using now? And I said, yeah, it's what we're using now. But then I thought, hang on, I haven't done it with a full lot of waste on. I was just kind of messing around with a little bit of waste out the pond over winter, and it worked really well. But I haven't tried it now. Now the fish are eating, and I'm getting a lot more waste in there, and I've got the Koi Master Advantage in there, waste, and it's completely covered the extractor. So I'm going to get the GoPro in again to see if it does a full waste and time it and see how long it takes. I mean, it may not work this time, and I may go, oh damn, it doesn't work on large amount of waste. But I'm going to chuck you in, so you're going to have to hold your breath for a minute or two, maybe not that long, for a few seconds, while I dunk you in to the Vortex and see if it works. So, hold your nose, you're going in. Right, that was interesting. See how it only took right from the middle and left that bit down the outside? I don't know what I could do with that, that's gravity. I don't know, we'll have to have another think about that. But just helping it down, I got my little shovel, just eased it down another couple of seconds. So in total, 15 seconds. And it's not anywhere near emptied the vortex, so it's still saving water, which is great. It's just that little bit it didn't take. Siphon sorted it out, that finished it off, that was excellent news. So apart from that, dead happy with that. So there you go, up north Koi Pond. It's still working. It's maybe it needs a little bit of a tweak. I don't know, bing, 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 light bulb needs to go off. It hasn't done yet, so we'll sort that later. Anyway, let's crack on something else. Right, note to self. When I'm not using this, if I'm going to use this fishing line on it, I can't leave it in there because the fishing line floats down into, I've just had OJ caught up in my fishing line. I'm not even fishing. So I've just taken it out. So I'm only putting this in as and when I need it. I shan't be hooking it to the inside of there until I come up with another method. Every day's a school day. Don't knock it until you've tried it. What can you do? Let's get this bought, get it home, and we'll get it cut. I can cut it with one of these. Yeah, but I've seen Phil's balls. Oh yeah, and nothing like that.